Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube channel and on my video today. I really appreciate you being here and I appreciate your time and I'm very excited for today's video. So we're just gonna jump right into it. So as you're aware, on my channel, we have been going through and we have been reviewing the new Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series. Now, there are 2 episodes so far, and there are allegedly only 3 episodes in this entire series, with the final one coming out next week. So we will be done this little mini-series. If Shane gets to call it a series, I get to call it a series, because we know that they're just vlogs, the same way this is just basically a vlog. But we'll call it a series so we sound more intelligent than what we are. Isn't that right, Shane? And more creative than what we are. Isn't that right, Shane? Anyway, let's get into it. So we made 2 videos so far, basically going through the episodes, and thank you so much for the response on them, and I've been loving the conversation that's been happening, because this is definitely like a new era, especially for Jeffree Star. I really wouldn't say Shane, because you could watch a video from Shane this year, and it literally is if he hasn't, like, mentally progressed past the year of, like, 2014 or something like that. But Jeffree is, like, a completely different person in this series. Like, he is new life completely, and, you know, there's so much going on with Jeffree, and there's so little going on with Shane. And this series is definitely a very interesting term, you know, for both of them, because it just feels very empty. And that's kind of and I don't mean that to just critique or just be mean or anything like that. I'm just saying it because this series, you know, their first one that they made was all about the making of the makeup and, you know, the drama and blah, 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 blah. So whether you didn't like them or you liked them or something like that, if we were watching it to just, you know, review it, say, there's something to, you know, there's an end goal. There's the end goal of releasing the makeup palette. And the reason there has to be an end goal is because we're being sold this like it's a documentary. And this one, especially the new one, is a comeback documentary. So with this one, the end goal that we have been told since episode 1 is that Jeffree was going to drop a bombshell. And, you know, episode 1 goes by and nothing happens. Episode 2 goes by and nothing happens for 55 minutes of it. And then in the 56th minute of it, or whatever, they basically say that Jeffree is thinking about retiring from YouTube. And then it cuts to be continued. So we are now episode 2 out of 3. And there has been all build up, but no end explosion. Like, you know what I mean? So this series, I'm just speaking from a reviewing standpoint, has felt very empty so far because there's no end goal and it's like we're being hyped up for something that's inevitably going to not live up to the expectations, if you know what I mean. So that's what this one is a lot different than the last one. So this recent one that we watched, episode 2, basically revolved around the fact, we'll not get too deep into it because we have an entire video on it, but basically Shane and Ryland and Chris go to Wyoming. They meet up with Jeffree and Maddie. Jeffree and Maddie bring them in the car. Jeffree starts showing them his shotguns and his rifles, and it's really weird and really uncomfortable. Then Jeffree brings them back to Star Yak Ranch, and then he's also showing, you know, more shotguns and rifles on the table, and this is his new life. He says that he's a completely different person now. He's changed. He sold his California mansion. He sold all his Birkins. He sold all his clothes. He's just him and the yaks. And he doesn't really care about makeup anymore because makeup's not really selling. All he cares about is that he's in 6 local restaurants with his yak meat now, and that's his, you know, kind of future. And then Shane gets dropped on the moment of the last minute of the last video that Jeffree's thinking about leaving YouTube, with his reason being that he's done everything in his idea on YouTube and also his videos aren't getting views anymore. And he basically says, like, what's the point if I'm not getting views? Which basically goes to show that he was never doing YouTube for the fans in the first place, or never doing it to build a connection or whatever. It was simply monetary to him, which, you know, a lot of YouTubers do, but, like, it's really awkward and uncomfortable to actually hear them say that, because it just is so, it really goes to show their character and that they don't value their audience whatsoever. Where have we heard that one before? Deaf Noodles. But basically, my main critique of the Jeffree quitting YouTube because no one's watching anymore, that's not true. We looked on Jeffree's YouTube channel and his YouTube videos as of recent have literally just been product reveals and ads. So the audience get tired of that at a certain stage and they feel like you're just coming back to sell them a product. And this is what we've talked about. Jeffree used to critique every single female beauty guru out there for just using their audience to come back and film a collection reveal and then never film any other videos, and their heart isn't in the game. But now when Jeffree does it, it's fine. So I asked you what your opinion was of it, and we're going to go through and we're going to read them. I'm going to give you my opinion on what you all have to say, and we're going to have a big conversation. So this was on the Muckers Facebook group chat, which I appreciate everyone who responded, and I appreciate everyone that's on this group. Make sure to click the link down below, request to join. I will accept you. Also, the second channel is down there. Go watch new videos every single day. But I basically posted for a video, what was your opinion on episode 2 of the new Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series? I'll read out a bunch of responses in a video, so make them good. So I got 50 responses, and I'm just gonna like scroll through randomly to kind of get an overall opinion here. I don't want to just read 10 in a row and then not read the rest. I kind of want to take a handful of them, so I'm just gonna read whatever ones shout out to me. So the latest one, for example, is from Rebecca, who said, all drama, no substance. Does anyone really care about what Jeffree or Shane are saying anymore? They had their peak in 2019, and now they just want any remaining fame that's left for them. They should just retire. Not like clickbait retire, but actually leave the internet as a profession if they're going to do it. Now, this is not just Rebecca being snarky, this is Rebecca responding to that the title of the series was originally The Retirement of Jeffree Star, and then it was changed to The New World of Jeffree Star. So they're already clickbaiting Jeffree retiring, so it comes across as insincere and even clickbaiting the last moment. And also, if Jeffree leaves the internet, what does Shane have? Realistically, what does Shane Dawson have content-wise if he isn't able to piggyback off of Jeffree Star? Now, that can be said about drama channels, and I'm not null to that fact, but at least we have other people. Shane Dawson only has Jeffree Star, and Ryland, and his filmer, Chris, because he doesn't have his old filmer, Andrew. He jumped ship too. So that's an interesting point. Alright, we'll go through and we'll see that Zoe said, YouTube is not dead. It's just harder to find content creators, in my opinion. Like Adam said in his video, it's just like a lot of small niches across YouTube. I live off of YouTube. It's my comfort. I'm seeing young family members grow up on YouTube as well. YouTube will never be dead. Adam was right about Jeffree just not trying with his content anymore. I'm just still not over the fact that he literally is the same person as before and nothing has changed. A lot of us are younger than Shane and we know better and stuff because we aren't like him. It's just kind of sad that they're giving the old era, that there's been no growth. Disappointing, and I feel very weird about it. Jeffree quitting will be his own choice at the end of the day. And again, I did say that. I was like, you can't come on here and complain about you're basically being forced into retirement because no one's watching your videos anymore when your videos are just trying to fucking get money off of people. Like, at a certain stage, people don't have any more money to say. And also, there was like a really privileged point that was brought up in Shane's video by Jeffree, where he's like, no one cares about YouTube anymore because all people care about is Netflix and Disney Plus, and someone made a great point in my YouTube comments actually and said, what a privileged thing for Jeffree to say, because YouTube is a free platform, free content for being able to watch freely, whereas you have to pay for Netflix, pay for Disney Plus. And a lot of people cannot afford that, especially during a pandemic, which is Jeffree's point was, during the pandemic, no one's watching YouTube because we're all getting our subscriptions to Disney, Hulu, and it's like, that's not the case for everyone, and some people were living check to check. Some people couldn't afford food to put on the plate. So their main priority is not like, I'm just gonna stop watching Jeffree Star on YouTube, and I'm gonna, buy a subscription to 10 different places. That's an incredibly privileged position to think that everyone is doing that. Look inwards at your content was basically my ideology of it. I would love for Jeffree to be this completely new, changed person in this new series with Shane because it would be much more interesting to watch, and I was hoping that it was going to be, and it was teased in that way, and it just fell flat. And now, they have a lot to live up to in the 3rd episode that they basically have to make up for 2 hour-long videos that have been building up to a 3rd episode. Like, what TV show, seriously, has, hour-long slots for multiple episodes, for nothing to happen, teasing that something's gonna happen, and then in the final episode, everything happens? That's not how it works. You lose the audience by that stage. I don't know, it just, from a filmer's point of view, as someone who's studied in this, it comes across as incredibly lazy, and I get it. Shane is just trying to drag out the amount of content that he can possibly do with this Jeffree series, which is very clearly what's going on, to make most amount of money. I get it, but it's just like, don't tease it like it's going to be the greatest comeback ever of both of you whenever nothing's happened and we're 2 hours into it. Over 2 hours into it. Alright, okay, we'll go to another one. Tasha said, it was nice to see a different side of Jeffree, but it did make me realize that I just don't like Jeffree's content anymore. So there we go. We have from Adrienne said, it does seem realistic that he would retire at this point, and I'm glad that that's his plan, honestly. He seems pretty content with his new lifestyle, but I think the reasons he gave was wrong and self-pitying. There are still people watching YouTube, a lot. There are different tons of people who blew up on YouTube during the pandemic when everyone was at home and watching. Just because they don't make the kind of content that people are watching anymore doesn't mean that people aren't watching YouTube. I know I'm bored of makeup content nowadays. However, there are tons of people that still get millions of views per video per week that Jeffree and Shane used to get at their peak by just making the same content. The difference is that, in my opinion, the content that gets those views takes up a lot more effort and thought than doing a makeup look or filming a documentary and then they put in vlog for a few days. Some people actually plan and put work into their stuff trying to make unique, not repetitive content, or are just funny. Alright, okay, and then Vanessa said, honestly, it was just a bunch of blandness. It's just them meeting up again and talking about nothing. I honestly was expecting Shane to do a little bit more than what he did, but kind of glad he didn't. Just a bunch of stuff that I'm not really here for. Jeffree saying that no one watches YouTube for entertainment is laughable. He's just saying that to excuse the fact that nobody's watching him anymore. Alright, okay. So, Morgan said, I'm gonna be honest, Adam, it feels forced. This episode felt as if Shane was really dumbing himself down to act as if his content wasn't always planned. Like, he basically said over and over again that this series with Jeffree was coming out of thin air and he was never gonna plan it, even though they'd already booked the tickets to Wyoming and they were gonna go to the farm and blah blah blah. So, basically, Morgan is saying that it kind of seems like we as the audience are almost made to feel that we're, like, stupid. For some reason, this video confirmed to me that Ryland is off. I used to watch Shane's content plus Jeffree, and I didn't mind Ryland and Shane's relationship. Now, it just seems very weird to me when watching. The filming is all over the place. Andrew definitely has more talent. Same old jokes. Also, YouTube still has interesting people. They're just upfront with their audience and don't thrive off of the negativity that Shane and Jeffree did. Now, as well, I got a lot... Y'all called me out in my video because I said that I actually enjoyed Chris, who's the new filmer. I said I actually enjoyed Chris's filming. I thought it was the best part about the new episodes we've been watching. I enjoy Chris. I think he comes across as endearing. I like his filming. I like that he's not, like, overly loud the way Andrew was whenever they're filming. And that's not to say I really enjoyed Andrew and I enjoyed Andrew's style of filming, but it's almost refreshing. And that, to me, is, like, the new thing in Shane's video. Like, Shane hasn't changed, the jokes haven't changed, the content hasn't changed, the whatever. For the past 4 years, they've been doing the exact same format with Shane and Jeffree just specifically. So at least I'm, like, bathing in the fact that there's a new filmer and we're getting a different point of view. And I used to think that Chris was emulating Andrew's style. I don't think he was in these recent episodes, and a lot of people are saying that they don't enjoy that. I'm gonna be honest, I quite enjoyed Chris's filming. I thought it wasn't too much. I didn't think it was too over the top. I thought the editing was fine. It wasn't too in your face. That's my pros of the past couple episodes, and I am willing to give pros when I deem them. I don't make these videos to seem like I'm just punching down. I don't want to. I want to be entertained. I really fucking do. I'm gonna watch these videos anyway. I'm coming to you and talking about them. I would rather be entertained for an hour than bored out of my tits for an hour. And that was the pros for me. I actually enjoyed Chris in these videos. That being said, Chris is not the main star of these videos, so there's only so much that can take me. I did really enjoy Andrew, and I know a lot of people know that, but I definitely enjoyed a little bit of a refresh with having a new point of view with the filming, which is what Chris gave. Janae said, I actually really like seeing them together. However, the build-up is getting very frustrating. When they finally reveal Jeffree is leaving YouTube, it cuts to a to be continued. They should have spent more time. These all just feel like filler episodes. Does anyone notice how it seems like Jeffree Star is about to release the wedding palette in the series and he says he's making 2 more videos? Since releasing that makeup, he's already made more than 2 videos, so I don't know what's happening. So basically, Janae is commenting that Jeffree said he has 2 more videos than he's quit YouTube. But if we look at it statistically with the dates they filmed this, he's already posted more than 2 videos. So he's not quitting YouTube and we're being clickbaited, which, lovely. So, alright, okay, we're gonna Get to another one. Aaron said, I agree with Jeffree when he said YouTube is over. Like, no one is watching YouTubers as much anymore. There's no one super entertaining anymore. Like, Jenna Marbles isn't on YouTube anymore. Jeffree's so unpopular. James Charles, same thing. David Dobrik has scandals. And I can't stand him. Like, YouTube just isn't what it is anymore. And I agree with him. And a lot of people are getting entertainment like TikTok or streaming services, of course. I love the new YouTube drama channels and all that, but the new YouTubers are just out for clout. They don't make funny content anymore, and it's just not the same as what it used to be. I actually appreciate that Aaron said here about TikTok and other social medias that are free, because again, let's normalize that people can change from one free platform to another free platform and not have to waste their money on subscriptions where maybe once a month they'll get a movie that they actually want to watch. You know what I mean? I do not think that subscription services are worth it. I'm gonna be honest, like, Disney Plus to me is quite possibly the only one that I actually get my money's worth out of. I'm subscribed to Disney Plus and Netflix. That's it. And even then, sometimes I have to fucking buy the movies or TV shows I actually want to watch on iTunes or Apple TV or Amazon Prime. And it's like, there's no one perfect streaming service, and then your bill at the end of the month is like £50 to just watch like one show here, one show there, and it's not worth it. And so that's why I get really frustrated whenever people are like, oh, no one's watching YouTube, no one's watching TikTok anymore because we have all these streaming services. That's expensive and that's not cost efficient to be wasting that amount of money, especially when we're in a living cost crisis, to be spending that amount of money on fucking platforms where you're not even getting your money's worth of. I can't remember the last thing I fucking watched on Netflix. Like, Disney Plus, however, I would say I get my money's worth. I genuinely do. I watch it. Netflix, the only thing I probably watch on Netflix, other than the Lindsay Lohan movie, which I know's out and I can't wait to watch that, is probably binging Friends every couple fucking months. And then Disney Plus, Family Guy, and Disney movies. Oh. It's people on a boat. I'm trying to hear their conversation. And then, you know what I mean? Like, whenever I actually want to watch, like, Corpse Bride or Nightmare Before Christmas, I have to fucking buy that shit, like, individually. Streaming services are not worth it. Oh my goodness. So I appreciate Aaron saying about like TikTok instead of just being like we have like Disney Plus or Netflix. All right, okay. Autumn said, Adam, the way Shane constantly says that the video isn't planned is getting very irritating to me. I just can't find it in me to believe that him and Jeffree are so spontaneous and didn't have this planned out ahead of time. I'm supposed to believe Jeffree was just like, oh, by the way, I'm retiring, to Shane randomly on a random Tuesday. Not to mention, bold of him to assume that because he's no longer making good content that YouTube's dying, which is where I stand on this. The video was honestly a lot of nothing, just one big cash grab. It was basically them promising to talk personal while Jeffree shows off random material items, but instead of a vault full of expensive purses, it's an electric fly swatter and rifles. And I agree with that, and I actually want to say that I'm watching more YouTube now than what I've ever done. Because podcasts are on YouTube. I love long-form content. I am watching sit-down vlogs from people that are the same duration that these Shane documentaries are, and I'm finding enjoyment sitting down watching them. And podcasts, I love Brittany and Sarah's podcast, and Emergency Intercom, I think it's called. Like, I love those podcasts, and they're all on YouTube. I don't know about y'all, I'm watching more YouTube than what I've ever done. I'm watching more YouTube than damn right I am even watching Disney Plus or Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever like that. Like, come on. Just because that's so egotistical, and I don't think that many YouTubers would ever get away with saying, my videos are underperforming, so it must mean nobody's watching YouTube. Like, that is such an egotistic thing to say, and I don't think people are calling that out enough. Like, I can't believe we're just watching Jeffree be like, yeah, YouTube must be dying as a platform. And he's like, fuck YouTube, like on YouTube, on a video that's trending on YouTube, because his videos aren't performing well. Jeffree, again, we can pull up your channel, and all of your videos recently have been, buy my makeup, buy my makeup, buy my makeup. So, alright, okay. Hannah said, I'm honestly glad that Jeffree had the chance to get out of California and move to Wyoming. He seems to be more at peace here, and I'm sort of happy to see that. Still doesn't excuse the things that he's done and said, though. As for Shane, I don't think that he's changed a bit. He's still as annoying as what he always was. He still tries to convince his audience that he's changed and still makes those cringy-ass jokes about being unhygienic and quirky. This whole thing feels so old and recycled. The flashbacks and old clips, oh my god. And he keeps saying that it's unplanned and not scripted. Girl, trust me, we can see that it's not because the editing is so messy. P.S. Love you, Adam. Love you too, babe. Alright, okay. We will get to Ryan, who said, I can't find humor or enjoyment in his content anymore, so it feels like a real drag. I personally don't care for makeup, so the beauty world and palette makings are also not interesting to me. But it really does seem like Shane is riding the cancelled train, and he has for many years now. And it doesn't bother him anymore than when he was being called out for things. I think they both should follow the video's original title and retire from YouTube for good and find a new chapter in their lives, which Jeffree seems to have done with the Yaks. YouTube doesn't see them as the kings anymore, and I think that they've fallen from that pedestal. Well, here's the thing as well. They'll always have an audience, they'll always be put on the trending page, they're always going to be friends with Susan Wojcicki, all these different things. We're all going to watch the videos anyway. I just would love if they had dived deeper into stuff we haven't seen before. Like, we don't need an entire episode that's flashbacks to 2020. We're trying to forget about 2020. We don't need to see clips from the 2019 series. We watched that. How about create new, refreshing content if you are the filmmaker that you so desperately tell us that you are? Show us the Yaks. Show him in the farm. Show him this. We don't need to see him walking around the farm talking about 2019 again. We want to see him walking around the fucking yak farm talking about new life changes. We don't always just want to live in this loop, which is what this content feels like. And I can't believe that Shane's like posting like, finally feeling creative again, finally feeling inspired. And I'm like, do you, or are you just mentally back in 2019? I'm rooting for these videos to be interesting. I'm rooting for Shane and Jeffree to give us something more. And listen, I'm gonna be honest, I think Jeffree is almost there. Like, Jeffree is almost there. I'm watching him and I'm not associating him with the makeup Jeffree anymore and the series of cancelled Jeffree, or the conspiracy Jeffree. I'm seeing this interesting, new, weird era of Jeffree. Let's dive deeper into that. If Shane hasn't changed as a person, if he's still the same humor, same 2019 drama, Taddy, James, sister, no, leave him out of it. Like, focus more on Jeffree then. Give us something interesting. Give us a series with Jeffree and Chris. Fuck. Alright, okay. We'll go to the top of the responses and read some of them. Miranda said, I have expected a bit more. It's all Shane's jokes, which have already been cringy and weird and used for many years. Was especially cringy seeing Jeffree show off his outfit in the airport and walk around and act like he owns the place. Then Jeffree's guns with the silencer on it, and Jeffree showing off his electric Hummer. Like, why did Shane have to include the part where Jeffree shows how fast the thing can get the car from 0 to 60? As a viewer, it feels very weird. Okay, we'll go to the top. Okay, so, Katie said, I noticed other channels assumed because Shane changed the name of his video from The Retirement of Jeffree Star to The New World of Jeffree Star, that Jeffree wasn't going to retire. But I think they just wanted to stir up drama, and since Shane changes his videos names anyway, it would be a good opportunity for them. So yeah, I think Jeffree is not retiring, y'all. They are hoping that this series will bring enough people being like, Jeffree, don't leave! That he then posts videos. And listen, I would much rather he posted videos that aren't just trying to sell us shit and give us a little bit of something to work with instead of just looking at collection reveals. So if he's not retiring, fine. If he is retiring, fine. But just, like, make up your mind. We don't need to switch around the title like fucking juggling. Like, my goodness. Alright, okay. Alright, so Kayla said, it's the same regurgitation vibes over and over again, with the same overreaction that Shane did from the first series. The editing is also not it for me. The music's loud and overdramatic. I also find it distasteful that Jeffree referenced his Rolls-Royce crash, then started speeding during this or on the same road, which was also an interesting point as well that I completely missed in my video. Yeah, he talked about the car crash with his friend Daniel, who I'm pretty sure is still not doing well, so I'm sending Daniel all my best. Yeah, he was talking about that crash, and then he was basically like, the crash was like the best thing that happened to me. It like fixed my back, and then he's like, let me show you how we can speed in this car. Yeah, that actually was really weird. I can't believe I didn't pick up on that, so thank you, Kayla, for that. It's very obvious to me that this is just a cash grab. He's trying so hard to recreate the nostalgia of the previous series and palette. We'll read one more. Okay. So, we'll read out two more. So we have one that says, I genuinely feel like this is all one big pity party. They wanted to throw their fit when they got cancelled, but Taddy dragged them, and then whenever they came back, people didn't like them. So they're grabbing for their sympathy moment now. 2 years later, by the way. They want people to miss them. I think Jeffree really is going to quit eventually, but he wants to go out being loved and admired and missed, not cancelled, hated, and disrespected. And if this pity party works for Jeffree, then when Shane decides to retire, he's doing the same thing, because they're going away loved rather than going away and being dismissed. And the final one we'll read is Mindy said, I'm honestly sick of all the constant flashbacks. See how everyone has a general consensus here? I'm getting sick of the constant flashbacks and jumping around to things we've seen a million times already. Where is the new content? And this is what I'm saying. If I can be as constructive as possible to Shane and Jeffree and Chris, give us new content. If you're going to do these new documentaries, give us something new. Something new to work with. That's all I'll say. Please. Something new. Something new. I'm rooting for y'all to make the most interesting content ever because I have to watch it. So, I'm rooting for you. And I hope that these videos aren't just coming across as so negative and hateful. I genuinely don't mean it like that. And I'm not sending them any hate. I don't mean it like that. All I'm saying is, I'm rooting for these to be as interesting as possible if you're going to make them. And a lot of people agree with that. And Shane is doing the same jokes as always. I'm fat, I'm gay, etc. It's honestly so old at this point, and it feels like another ad when Jeffree was talking about everything he's released since the conspiracy palette. Yeah, and it's flashing up the palettes on the screen. Fuck me. Checkmark, checkmark, checkmark. Oh, Jesus. He hardly posts anymore, so what's the surprise? He only wants to launch a product and then get people's attention. So I waited the whole hour to hear Jeffree is done with YouTube, and then we don't even hear about it. What? So I think everyone's just kind of getting to the point where feels like we've seen it, give us something new, and that's kind of where we're at with it. I want to ask you, before episode 3, before the third video comes out, what would you want them to do to make it as, redeemable, interesting as possible? Maybe you love the series, good for you. Maybe you don't, good for you. Whatever, floats your boat. For me, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the third episode to make up for the hype that was created by them around this series. Because otherwise it just seems like a bunch of unfulfilled words, promises, alongside a video that they could have probably made in 2019 and are just releasing now, if you know what I mean? Jeffree is giving Shane so much to work with. They're in Wyoming, they have fucking yaks walking around, they've work with it, give us it, work with the content. You're 2 hours in and you haven't focused around the fact that he left the mansion and he's surrounded by 300 fucking mammals? What? Work with it, he's giving you something here. Anyways, I love you muckers. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know your opinion. Second channel's linked down below. The Facebook group's down there. If you want to be included and read out, make sure to go join. Also in the comments, I'll be doing a mix of both. I appreciate you being here and I appreciate your time and I'll see you in the next one and bye. Mwah!